Welcome back to Chicks and Salsa. How's everybody's week been so far?
It's going really well.
Good.
Good. And we obviously have a dude with us. He was thinking he was going to keep me. Am I too loud?
No, no, no,
Oh.
no. You're good. You're good.
He was thinking he was going to keep me in check, but I had to keep him in check. This man right beside me, Mr. Adam Lemires, had a dance off with the mascots on Saturday night.
Wait, tell us where you were.
I was leading up to that. We had the
Oh.
awesome opportunity to cover. It was my first game that I've covered, so very exciting. The ACC championship. I will be after this. I haven't uploaded it yet, but I've got the final touchdown drive by SMU on camera on video that I'll be uploading to Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. I also have the game-winning field goal. I also got a really cute picture of Clemson's kicker who won the game for Clemson and his girlfriend just having a moment in the middle of everybody, and it was really sweet. I didn't get the one I wanted, but I don't care. It was very sweet. It was like young love, and all they want to do is be there, have their perfect little moment. It was sweet, and here I was intruding upon it. And sorry, not sorry. It was really too sweet. But we had an amazing time. We covered the press conferences on Friday. And I've covered the press conferences before. That's how Adam and I met. I'll let Adam tell that story if you want, real quick.
Yeah, it was really cool to be around Jen on Friday and uh, called Jen, myself, Chris Heidel from Herb FM Sports Radio. We actually went to go get food outside on Friday, and it was cold. It was really, really cold. It's called. Let's see. I had wings. Jen and Chris had pizza, and it was really good, wasn't it, Jen?
It was, but so Rob, I'm sorry. The wings look really good, but I couldn't buy it. I'm sorry. Not near Bank of America Stadium. I mean, I'm a homer there. I'm kidding. I'm in a really good mood today. Sorry.
Hey Rob,
Um,
can you turn it down just a little bit?
So we had that. That was really good. We got some food trucks, and we went into the press conferences. And Adam and I met last year at the ACC press conference when I had a coughing fit, and two coaches and the head of the ACC gave me bottles of water, and they knew I was not trying. He saw me trying to swallow my coughs. So, but
Oh
this year it was
no.
cough free, and so it was great. I was able to ask um, Coach Sweeney a question, and then I was also able to ask Coach Leahy of SMU two questions. The second one did elicit quite the chuckle from the crowd. So I was
Yes,
trying to get,
Jen.
get
It's
him to
called.
give us
Yes,
his
Jen.
secrets for Saturday night, but that didn't work. But you know what impressed me the most was at halftime, as the guys were going into the tunnel, and both Clemson and SMU used the same tunnel to go in and out. And the look of determination on SMU's faces. I even said on my live, I was like, guys, watch out. This second half is going to be a beauty of a second half. And it did
It
not
really
disappoint.
was. Yeah, it really was.
It was gorgeous. I mean, it literally came down to the wire. So, Adam, what was your favorite part?
Oh no, hanging out with all the ACC mascots on the field was pretty cool. Getting a, I mean, it's like, you see it. I mean, when you watch all these ACC games, you see the mascots, loading up the crowd, and I can say I got my picture took with, you know, living here in North Carolina. I am a Tar Heel fan, so it was pretty cool to get my picture took with Ramses, the North Carolina mascot. Got my picture took with legendary Otto the Orange, the Syracuse mascot.
Right.
The the Virginia Tech mascot. I got my picture with one of the Clemson mascots after the game, and um, being there on the field to see that walk off field goal by Clemson's freshman kicker, who is from Charlotte. I mean, it's like Jen can tell you. I mean, as soon as he made that kick, the crowd went absolutely nuts, crazy,
Right.
and it was like, I mean, yeah, it was chaotic, and I was glad to see both Clemson and SMU get into the college football playoff because
Right.
the committee actually did this right this year
Yes.
compared to what we saw last year with Florida State being not in because of the injury to their quarterback Jordan Travis at the time. So
Right.
it, it was smart.
And my team benefited from that last year because obviously I'm a Texas fan. And so they were able to get into the playoffs probably because of that. Had FSU gone to the playoffs instead of us, I don't think I would have felt like we were cheated. I would say that. They were winning games despite losing their quarterback, like an atrocious injury, of course. It's just awful. I remember watching it when it happened. So, like I said, and for them to be able to win ball games after that, it was rough. And then this year, man, tough season this year for FSU.
I don't want to talk about
Yeah,
it.
but honestly,
He said, I don't want
No,
honestly, honestly, I
I'll
didn't
wait till
really
next year.
have a team in this one because I'm like a heels Boston College fan. As an adult, I appreciate the heck out of Duke. I'm not gonna lie. Um, and I probably shouldn't say that since I cover all the ACC, but those are probably my three top. But Boston College, obviously, for sentimental reasons. But I was the non-professional side of me was kind of rooting for SMU because I wanted the change.
I think a program that has gone through everything that SMU has gone through, I think, of course, we want to see them be able to come back and do well. Great for them to be relevant again. I don't know if they have enough to move out of the first round, and definitely not the second round. And so, I think, and this might be controversial to say, but I think maybe Alabama should have made it. And that's not very SEC. We came in to rule the SEC of me, but I do think that they probably could have gone in, and I would have been okay with that. When you go and you look at go ahead.
No, go ahead. You finish your thought.
I think that when you have to look at strength and schedule, and far be it for me to root for Bama because I'm not, forever, forever. But when you look at their schedule and their quality wins compared to SMU's, there's a difference. There is a level of difference. And the same thing if Army would have gotten in. I love the Army team. The young man that's a quarterback is from like an hour and a half from here. I'm from Abernathy, Texas. Captain America. It's great. But I mean, the conference that he won, like that, or that they won, is not the same level of competitions as others. So the same with SMU.
The only thing I'm gonna say is if the committee was gonna put Alabama in, they had to put them in earlier. They had to right from the beginning say strength of schedule matters to us, and so weeks ago they would have been up higher because they had a stronger week strength of schedule. If you're gonna value conference championship games and the fact that SMU got there, because let's face it, if you would have said SMU, you're out, then why should someone go play the championship game? Because if you lose that championship game, you're out.
Oh well, and I agree with that because I think the validity of the conference championships is, obviously I was in a situation there. My team could have sat out the conference championship game, and it would have been understood. And maybe they should have, maybe they shouldn't have. I don't really know. However, like you said, the validity of the conference championship games has definitely gone down. How many times has Nick Saban sat there and said that, he didn't want to win that game to begin with?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and he had some good points if you listen to the the show on Saturday when they announced, or Sunday when they announced it, and how he was talking about strength of schedule. And my thoughts were like, most of these schedules are especially non-conference games are scheduled out in advance. So the problem is you don't know if that team 2, 3, 4 years down the road is going to be a strong team, and whether your strength of schedule is going to be good or not. So that makes it harder. And for the smaller schools, I think it especially makes it harder. With the transfer portal, you're going to have a lot more movement and stuff like that. But a
For sure.
program like Alabama is always going to pull in good, and have a stronger strength.
I mean, they did have 30 players depart in the transfer portal last season, though. So, like, they did go through some controversy, and we're not going to really see the results of that for another season or two, I think. Similar to when Duke and UNC, both of their legendary coaches retired, you didn't really see what the team looked like until a couple of seasons later,
Right.
I mean, we've said the same thing about the Cowboys and their Super Bowls and what Barry Switzer, was it really his championship or was it really Jimmy Johnson's championship?
Yeah, I mean, it's like, who would have thought, that's what these fans don't understand regarding these non-conference schedules. Like you said, Candy, these non-conference schedules are made like 5 years in advance, 10 years in advance. So we don't know how good, Alabama can play, Western Carolina University, or they played Mercer University out of the SoCon. We don't know how good
to end the season. They did.
Play the game. I mean, it's like, Alabama, they didn't win against Vanderbilt, and they didn't win against Oklahoma, and that's what cost them a chance, to be
And
in
the way they lost, and the way they lost to Oklahoma, because it wasn't
I
just.
can agree with that point for sure.
Yeah,
I think they have to look at that too.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, what did Herm Edwards always say? You play to win the game, and it's like,
I love that.
I mean, it's like, you schedule these teams, and it's like, you have a job to do, and your job is winning. If you don't win, well, it could cost you, and that's what cost Alabama, and also that's what cost Miami. They lost to Syracuse in their final game of the year, and they were the second to last team out. I mean, it's like, what do you expect? I mean, but Jen, I want to switch gears here, and you were at the Dabo Smitty press conference with me, and I asked Dabo a question about a former New England Patriot coach who could be on the move to Chapel Hill. You want to digress about that?
So, what did he say to that? He's like, I'm looking forward to the challenge or something like that.
Yeah.
And so, like,
who would have
official
thought
yet.
I'd see Bill Belichick wanting to become the coach of the North Carolina Tar Heels, and then our good friend Chris Heidel actually brought this up when we were in Charlotte. Could we see Nick Saban be his offense coordinator? I mean, that's what happened when Coach Belichick was the head coach of the Cleveland Browns. Nick Saban was his OC, so.
No, Belichick actually was on the Pat McAfee show yesterday.
Yes.
And said, if I take this job, or if that is something I'm going to do. And he laid out how he wants to run a college program, which it is to build men, take these young men, help them get work ethic, help them get established nutrition, getting their physical bodies ready, getting their mental health ready, getting their, setting up time management skills, helping them get their degrees. So whether they make it into the NFL or set those kids up for after the NFL, or set those kids up that are not going to make to the NFL to be successful in life. And to listen to him present what I think is that 400-page document he presented to UNC is
I'm
how
sorry.
he plans
I
on.
don't mean to laugh at what he does, but at 400 pages, it's so Bill Belichick to me.
Oh,
It's so
absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. But to listen to him present that plan in a matter of minutes, I mean, so there's nothing in depth. I have grown to respect who Bill Belichick is as a person and as a coach that I had never had before. I
Right.
love that we've had this new glimpse of who he is and how he thinks and how he operates that we never saw as a grumpy old man on the side of the Patriots on the Patriots sideline.
Agreed.
And
Right.
You have to be
you know, we
stoic.
didn't see that he had any personality other than grumpiness. And I love that that's something that for those of us that love football and have taken the time, you know, they have yet to see him on this side. We have a whole new dynamic of who he is as opposed to what he presented for all those years in uh, Boston.
Yeah. I'll agree,
So
Carrie. You know,
I'll say
it's,
this,
I mean,
a couple of things. First of
who
all,
would've
what he
thought?
wants to do is the UNC standard for coaches, to be honest with you, was setting their players up for success after their professional careers, or even if they aren't lucky enough to get into it. Like UNC just won their a soccer championship and a lacrosse championship, right? The
Yes.
lacrosse
Yep.
championship, the coach actually won 4 titles as a player with UNC Chapel Hill. She then got
Right.
promoted to being the head coach, and she's still winning. We need to try to get her on. But Adam, work your magic for us. We're making you our do it man, okay? And
Sure.
we
Okay, good.
but like that's what, like, honestly, Dean Smith set that standard. Um Grades before play. That was his rule. Grades before play. Mac Brown had the same standard when he was there in the 90s and when he's been there now. Um, every coach in between on every sport. And, like, I mean, even Mia Hamm will attest to back in the 90s how her soccer coach, like, made them have, like, there was the school-wide GPA, I think 2 point something, but then the soccer coach actually had upped it because not everybody's going to be a professional, and it's their job.
Right.
And I love that Bill takes that wholeheartedly because he knows that. And he knows even if you're great, it doesn't mean that you're going to get it.
Right.
And the one caveat that he added was that his son gets to be the head coach after he retires.
Okay. I like that.
I get that. He wants to set the stage for his kid, but you know what? I don't know how to feel about that. That's a mixed conversation in my house. But
That was actually something that was discussed too. Has been discussed yesterday and today. I mean, as a parent, don't you want to set your child up for success? But then but then where do you draw the line of being able to set your child up for success in a situation like this? Like, I'll do what I can to make sure my child has what he has to succeed, but he's going to have earned the job because I can't get him the job. So that's where it kind of gets a little dicey in my opinion. But I mean,
and that's where I'm conflicted because isn't his name Scott?
I don't know. I can look.
I think so.
No,
Yeah, I think so.
It's okay. But his son's been one of his assistant coaches for years. So I mean, and I don't think Bill Belichick would rest his legacy on his son, like his dad, who's the head coach for Army, wouldn't just like
Right,
rest
yeah.
his legacy.
Stephen, I think, is the one that we're talking about.
Yeah,
Stephen.
Yeah,
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
that's right, Carrie.
And so I don't know. That's where I'm conflicted because I don't think nepotism is always right, but you're right. Like, parents will always try to set their kids up for success, and why wouldn't they? Mine did.
Well, and that's the exact reason that, I hear, as a Dallas fan, people are like, oh, when Jerry goes, at least, then you can get somebody in to do the GM position. But like, if Steven's running the team and Jerry taught him how to run a team, what's going to be different?
Nothing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I have no expectations for that.
No, I mean,
Sorry, nothing's going to be different.
I'll
Thank
be
you.
cheering against you.
Sure, sure.
All right. Well, let's talk. I'll put in a little bit on the Bill Belichick thing because there was a chance that he was going to come to the Cowboys over this past off season, and so the thought of having him on my team was something that I had to think about, and so maybe not on the same scale as the age range that's at UNC. I do think that that type of calling is a very specific one for you to be a college level coach or I mean, even high school level coach too. But there's something really special about college level, and like I said, I think it takes a very special person to do that. When you look at Dawn Staley, could she coach an NBA basketball team? Yeah, I think easily. Could she coach a men's basketball team USA team as well? I think so easily. Is her purpose and like higher calling for that age range of young women as they're molding and going into their life and moving on, maybe beyond sports, or if they're going to move within sports within their career a little bit further. Like I think that age range where she's at is where she's meant to be. And so I don't know if Bill Belichick has that. It's just like I said, I think it's a real special calling. I think it's a really being a teacher, being a coach is something really special. And when you are taking in really young, impressionable minds that are maybe adults, they're kind of adults, but they're very young adults. It's a very important time in their life. So I don't know if Bill Belichick is that guy. Like he's very matter of fact. He's also old school at that too. Like, is he going to be able to relate? That was a question that was a problem within the NFL. Is that not going to be a question that's within this college hire if it happens? I don't know. I don't know if that's the right fit, honestly.
I'll say this. I think Bill Belichick would be fine because the difference between college, your average college coach, okay? Not your good ones, not your Nick Sabans, not your Kirby's, not, in my opinion, Mac Brown, even though he wasn't that great the past couple of years, to be honest. And Megan, you know Mac. I mean, he would coach at Texas.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, I'm well aware of Mac Brown.
But I'll tell y'all something off record too later. But they actually talked to their coaches, their students, and that's where Bill Belichick will be fine and will be a grade ahead because most college coaches, like Matt Toole, Matt Rule, they bully their students. Sorry.
I got it.
It's my online name from. I'm sorry. It's like, but they bully their coaches, like Deion Sanders. Do y'all really think Deion Sanders is out there getting to know any player other than his son and his son's best friend?
I do think just because of the culture that he's building. I don't know if you've watched. There was a clip that was shared. Gosh, it's been several weeks ago. There was a child that was being bullied.
Yes.
And he pulled that child in, and the entire team took the kid home, and the entire team embraced him. And that was because Deion found this out. So, I don't remember all of the logistics of it.
Carrie, it was the snow game between the 49ers and the Bills, and there was and the kid was a young lady, and it was her first game ever, and she got bullied in the stands, and Deion wanted to do something, so he tried to find the address of the young lady online, and then there was a GoFundMe page, and that's how.
Well, this was actually a student in Colorado that after the practice they took. The team took the kid back to school or walked with the student back to school. Like it was an entire team effort, and the kids all volunteered. Like coach said, "I'll take you," and the kids were like, "No, we'll take him," type thing.
Cool.
So I feel like Deion does have that, but I think he also has buy-in from the kids that that's what they want. So I think it's a culture thing that he's set, and is he pushing the narrative for his children? Probably.
Oh yeah, Absolutely.
But is he? But I also think he knows those kids at a better level than some of the, because those kids have all bought into it. So there's got to be, for the kids to buy in, there has to be the
Some
reciprocal
type of
coming
connection.
from. Yeah, so there has to be a reciprocal instance.
Okay.
But and I've had
Adam,
more
before we
than
get
one
out of here,
person
let's talk a
go,
little
yeah.
women's college basketball. So we had some losses last week. Texas lost to Notre Dame. A couple weeks ago, UCLA beat South Carolina. It's been a while since we've talked. And since that loss to UCLA, South Carolina's been on a mission, beat TCU, something serious. 2 nights ago, is that right?
That's right. Yep, that's
Gosh,
right.
like by
That's right.
28 points. It was rough. What games have you been watching?
Well, obviously, UCLA South Carolina game. We can say this: that Don Staley won't go undefeated this year. I mean, when I saw the game, I was
Right.
like, UCLA, like literally, like destroyed South Carolina in Poly Pavilion, and it's like you don't see that you don't see
Right.
that every day. It's like, we all thought at the beginning of the year South Carolina was going undefeated, but they have had a really tough non-conference schedule. And folks, Thursday night there's going to be a top 10 showdown in Joyce Pavilion over in South Bend, Indiana, between UConn and Notre Dame. Paige Becker, that is the star for UConn under head coach Gino Auriemma, and you have Niall Ivory, who is the head coach of Notre Dame, and Hannah Hidalgo, who is, it's like, if you don't know her
She's a
name,
superstar.
you should. And this game is going to be televised on ESPN at 7 o'clock Eastern. And if you don't have anything to do, I recommend watching that game, because we could actually see that game perhaps as maybe a Elite Eight matchup, come
Right.
when March Madness happens. And I also want to give a special shout to this weekend is also NCAA women's volleyball. It's having their quarter regional finals, and the ACC is loaded, led by number one overall seed Pittsburgh. So if you like women's, and Caitlin Clark was named Time Magazine's Athlete of the Year today. So I was very happy to see that, because of what she's done with the WNBA, and also next year there's a new franchise out there in the Bay Area, the Golden State Valkyries, and they had their expansion draft a couple nights ago. So listen, 200 days until the WNBA season tips off again, and we'll see how Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese do in year 2.
Absolutely. I'm super excited. I'm counting down the days too, till the WNBA season. I do think that this matchup with UConn is going to be interesting. We heard that Azzy Fudd is going to be out for a little bit, minor knee sprain. She's just kind of had a tough go around when it comes to injuries. But when on the court, we know what a great shooter she is.
She's dangerous.
Right, definitely. She definitely is. I do think that UConn probably has enough to win this game regardless. And I think the difference maker is going to be experience, and it's going to be some of that age. Paige is just, she's incredibly dominant. She's incredibly experienced. By Candy. All right, guys, that was Candy. Embling. She had to go to her other show. And, I think that they have enough to win this game. However, it could be close.
Yeah, this is like, if women's college basketball, I'm glad it's, it's gotten so much exposure, with stars that are, especially with all the TV deals. You had the women's champions class that was televised by Fox Sports this past weekend. It was Tennessee and Iowa. And
such a good game.
Yes. I mean, it's like,
It was really close until the last 2 minutes,
Mhm.
and then Tennessee pulled ahead.
yeah,
I do like the star that's over there in Iowa, though. I can't remember her name, but she was smiling the entire game, and that
Mhm.
was something that I just really noticed. Like, she's out there having a good time and enjoying the game as well as being competitive. I don't think she was like complacent and losing or anything like
no,
that,
no,
but
I mean,
like
no,
she's a young lady and she was out there having a good time, and I
yeah,
thought that was refreshing. I
yeah,
enjoyed
I
it.
mean, it's like,
And Tennessee got a squad.
yeah, yeah, they they could give South Carolina a run, and come SEC tournament time. I mean, like I said about college football, um, you play to win the game. So it's like, I mean, it's like we don't know what's going to happen on a night to night
Right.
basis, and
And I
in
do
women's college
I
basketball.
love that they've been giving us a lot of March basketball in non-conference play. Like, we've had
Yeah,
a
this
ton
is what
on
us.
both
This,
sides.
yeah, it's called. This is what us fans have starved for, and we have it now. I mean, it's like,
Right.
I mean, it's been nice. I mean,
It
and
has.
this weekend in college football, you had the Army Navy game, which
Hmm.
um, Jen and I's good friend Chris Heidel, who from Herbert FM Sports Radio, he and Matt Tricanelli from also from Herbert FM Sports Radio, those two are going to be going down to covering the game on Saturday
Very cool.
afternoon. Should be a great game at FedEx Field, and I will say, watching NCAA women's volleyball this weekend. Watch plenty of women's college basketball this weekend, and oh yeah, Thursday's 2 weeks to Christmas, ladies. You realize that?
Oh, right. Okay, okay.
What are you
So,
getting me,
folks, it's
Adam?
kind of, if you haven't got your Christmas shopping done, we'll get it done.
Adam,
Adam,
are
is
you
there
getting me?
anything you want to plug? Any show that you want to plug
Yeah,
before, or how they can follow you?
sure I do. You know, Thursday night you can join Chris Heidel and I on Herb FM Sports on Herb FM Sports Radio on YouTube. Chris and I will be previewing the Army Navy game with former Army head coach Orlando Midgens. We're also going to have Scott Gardner, who's an SMU broadcaster, to review the ACC championship game. We're also going to have Brett Freelander on, who was at the ACC championship game as well, to break down, what happened regarding the college football playoff and the rankings that were revealed. So 6:30 on Thursday night on YouTube, search Herb FM Sports Radio, and you'll find Sports Talk with Chris Heidel. And man, it's called. I can't believe we're almost at the end of college football season. It's like,
It is.
what
We're
we just,
almost to the
you know,
end. Anything that you ladies want to add before we get out of here?
Check out mine and Adam's social media pages. We've got a lot of fun content. I sent Adam all of his pictures that I took. He looked really adorable. I might embarrass him on social media and post them. But
yeah,
I hope
yeah,
everybody's getting their holiday
yeah,
shopping done. Next week we will have another guest on that I'm really excited about. We're going to have Gary Strogan of the Peach Bowl / Chick-fil-A Bowl. So he is the head of it. So I'm looking forward to having him on, especially leading into bowl season. So
Right.
yay, I'm excited. I hope you girls are
of
too.
course,
Adam, I hope you'll be live in the comment section.
yeah. It's
And I
called,
want to know
it's
what you're
always
getting
fun
me
to
for
hang out with
Christmas.
y'all.
He said, "Yep."
I know, right? He said, "Yep."
Yeah,
to me.
All right, guys, that does
Yeah,
it
so
for us this week.
yeah, so it's called when I see you Jen, when I see you in March for ACC men's basketball coverage, it's called. I get to pick on you a
And
lot
maybe
more.
we'll
You know
have
that,
Megan
right?
with us too. Or
Yeah,
Right.
we'll
Yes,
see.
I would
You
love
know,
to. Yeah, I would love to. Y'all will see me soon. All right,
Yes.
guys, that does it
Yeah,
for us this
I'm
week.
holding my
You will
breath.
catch us next week at the same time, same place. And thank y'all so much for commenting and sharing. We appreciate it. See y'all next week.